Welcome everyone. Really glad you are here today. I am Amendra Pratap. I am the Managing Director at Octane Solutions. I'm also an IBM champion, and Octane Solutions is a gold partner of IBM across multiple countries. Today we're talking about something completely practical. So there'll be no fluff, no hard sell, just a blueprint of how to improve your TM1 support. The title we've thought of for today's session is Rethinking TM1 Support. And the reason I use the words rethinking is that most organizations already know something is wrong with how their TM1 environment is supported. They just haven't found a framework on what to do about it. Today, in 45 minutes, we are going to try and fix that. So, here's what we are covering today. Firstly, diagnose. We'll look at the four support models most organizations actually use, where each one breaks. You'll leave knowing exactly which one you are. Secondly, understand. We'll look at what modern TM1 support actually looks like in practice, not the marketing version, the operational reality. Thirdly, execution. You will leave with a diagnostic checklist, a set of KPIs, and a 6 to 12 months roadmap of template that you can use immediately. We'll talk through three real client implementations, case studies. In the end, we'll also take questions. So if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Let's go. TM1 really is the problem, support is. Let me make a statement that I think most of you will recognize as true, even if you've never said it aloud. I'll repeat again. TM1 is never the problem, support is. And this is what I mean. When the teams tell me TM1 doesn't work, what they actually mean is one of four things. Excel is creeping back, and the system is unable to keep up with the request. Enhancements are taking months instead of days or hours. The system goes down at the worst possible time, usually mid budget cycle or during month end. Or, in our opinion, the most dangerous one, the entire environment is held together by one or two people who would create a crisis if they left. So, do you have a key person dependency in your system? We are in 2026. Do you still have that key person dependency? That's very, very risky. The root cause of all of this is the same. The operating model is reactive, knowledge is trapped, and the improvements never get prioritized. And I also want to probably add something that makes it a bit more urgent. If you are running an older version, so anything 10.2 on version, IBM has already ended their support for this version in April 2024. If you are still on any of those older versions, you are running an unsupported software, and that's even higher risk. And it's directly connected to the support model conversation we are having today. Why are you in that situation? Digging deeper, let's name the four models that we see out there in the wild. I want you to identify which one you are, because that's the starting point for everything that follows today. First model, in-house specialist. You do have a TM1 expert, probably one or two, that probably own the environment as well. This works quite well when everything is stable and they are happy. The breaking point, when they leave or when the backlog grows faster than one person can manage. This is what we call the buzz factor in the IT world. What happens if the buzz hits your key person? That is not a strategy. Model 2, finance as the admin. There are a number of sites that we go to where finance is the pseudo admin. They've taken on the role of TM1 management because either it was cheaper to do or it was simply more convenient and they had higher control over it. This works well in small deployments. The breaking point happens when FP&A ends up spending more time maintaining TM1 than using it for insights. Excel will creep back in. The tool that was supposed to free finance ends up creating a new administrative burden. The third model, ad hoc consulting. You call someone, a vendor or a consultant, when things break. This is actually quite common, especially after a failed implementation. The problem, you pay to fix the same problem or the same issue repeatedly. There's no knowledge transfer, there's no improvements, and you are funding someone else's consulting pipeline by not fixing the root cause. And model 4, and this is where we are heading, is a hybrid or a managed support model. Mixed maturity, peak load handling, a model built for modernization. The requirement to make this work is clear, the governance is there, and the measurements of all your critical KPIs are there as well. This is what we're going to talk about most of today. So, what does modern support, TM1 support, actually looks like? Not the brochure version or not what's on the websites of vendors, but the operational reality of it. There are five things. First, the coverage and the response. Define targets, not best effort. You know what priority one is, what priority two means, what is the SLA, and what happens when the clock starts ticking. The communication is there and there is transparency. Second one, funnel. There's no artificial split between support, development, training. If it helps the business, it's work and it goes into one queue. It's no situation arises where there is a out of scope discussion. If that's what the business requires, that's what gets done as a priority. Third, the prevention. The goal isn't always faster ticket closure. It's actually eliminating the ticket in the first place. So we have to look at each ticket and understand why it was created and what are we going to do so it doesn't happen again. Proactive maintenance, recurring checks, automation, suggestions. The fourth, reporting. You get monthly KPI reports, backlog trends, SLA compliance, what's the telemetry looking like. You can also see what's happening and hold your support partner, which is us in this case, accountable. Fifth, the roadmap. Structured improvement, capacity built into every engagement. We have seen numerous cases of where TM1 goes quite stale and out of date over many years of use. This is something that will fix that. Have a continuous roadmap and knowing where we're going and what improvements we're doing. This is not going to be a list of hopes. This is actual plan with milestones. This is a key mindset shift. Modern support is not just faster ticket closure, it's predictable cost, reduced risk, and continuous improvement. You want a model that prevents recurring pain, not one that profits from it. Let me show you how this actually works in an operational sense. Everything comes through one place, one queue. Every request, whether it's an incident, a BAU task, or a small enhancement, nothing gets lost, nothing sits in someone's email. Step one, intake and triage. Every request is classified and prioritized critically. The finance team takes control and controls the priority, not IT, not the vendor, not whoever shouts the loudest. That is another common problem, that even within finance, the loudest person just does not generally mean he's got the highest priority. You set the agenda and you set the prioritization. Step two, execution. The request is classified as stabilize, BAU, or minor dev and executed accordingly. Different workflows, however, is the same queue. A quick point to note out here, that the difference between minor dev and a project. So if anything is taking more than a week to build, and different organizations, different clients have different sort of time on what they consider to be a project, that is then handled by the same team perhaps, but as differently with slightly different compliance and governance, and we treat that as a project. Step three, root cause and prevention. When something gets resolved, we just don't close the ticket. We ask, is this a recurring issue? If it is, it goes into a problem backlog, and we find a permanent fix or automation to stop it coming back. Step 4, close and govern. Monthly KPI reviews, the roadmap, the check ins, the loop continues month in, month out. What I want you to notice is that this is not a linear process, it's a loop. Resolve tickets feed the knowledge base, which reduces the future tickets. That's how the ticket volumes drop over time. And one more thing is that we build the knowledge base in the first 60 days of every new client that we sign up. So, which basically means within the 2 months, we will have run books, documentation, checklist, shared knowledge that will reduce the dependency on any single individual or a vendor. Let's talk about the prevention specifically, because this is where most of the support fails. In a reactive model, you pay to fix the same problem every month or every quarter. In a prevention led model, you invest once in understanding the root cause and then it's gone. We do three things. First, recurring ticket elimination. We identify the patterns and we close them permanently. Stop paying us to fix the same thing over and over again. Secondly, internal recurring checks. Every fortnight or every month, depending on the size and scale of your environment, we are running a log hygiene check, performance baselines, validating the chore executions. So before a problem surfaces, we do all this and not after. Thirdly, automation suggestions. Every recurring manual issue is flagged for automation. As the environment stabilizes, all these different things, foundations that we're talking about, start adding up. You'll start seeing fewer tickets, less and less human intervention. And this is the model if you are on a subscription arrangement. Unused capacity in stable months get invested into prevention work. As the environment stabilizes, that capacity requirement reduces. You're not paying for perpetual firefighting, you start paying for more uh, decreased need to firefight. I would be interested to understand what percentage of your tickets or your support cost is going into repeatable issues that you face. From our experience, in some of the client sites we've gone into, it's more than 50%. So you are actually paying more than half of your support expense in fixing things that could be fixed one and automated. Let me quickly run through the 10 service areas that should be in any modern TM1 support model. You can use this as a benchmark against your current arrangement. Ticket intake and triage, single source of truth. Incident resolution, which is the actual fixes, not workarounds. Enhancements and project work. should be included in the package, not a separate commercial conversation. Preventative maintenance should be opt in, guidance based. Monitoring and telemetry, we'll cover this in detail a bit further. Logging and diagnostics, managed accumulation, faster root cause analysis, backup and replication. These are automated, tested, and recovery ready. Knowledge management, runbooks and checklists are built, shared in the first 60 days. You own the documentation, you have access to it. We don't have exclusive rights to it. It's your model. Governance and prioritization. Finance owns the priority queue. Training enablement. Free, ongoing training designed to uplift your internal capability over time. We have seen that when we train up the user base, regardless of the size of the implementation, once they understand the model and how to use it and they're trained up on it, the ticket numbers also reduce because they're empowered to do what they need to do. The question to ask yourself is, how are you tackling these 10 things in your current environment? Monitoring is where most TM1 environments have a genuine blind spot. IBM actually gives you excellent tools for it nowadays. More, or you can use some aftermarket tools as well. Most teams are just not using them and they don't understand it. There are three layers. First is the log management. TM1 generates logs continuously. If those logs are not actively managed, they accumulate silently. And IBM's own documentation warns that unmanaged log accumulation can crash your server. And we see it all the time. This is a preventable problem. Secondly, performance stats. IBM stats control cubes, for those in the know, capture minute by minute statistics on chores, client queues, processes, rules, server itself. These are native to the platform. You don't require third party tools. If you're not reading them and utilizing them, you're flying blind. Thirdly, infrastructure. The Windows performance counters, CPU, memory, disk throughput, active thread counts. These show what's happening at the operating system level. And even before a problem surfaces at the application layer, this will give you some triggers on what needs to be fixed before then. What you're looking on the screen is a sample of what a monitored environment looks like. Show fail rate down, execution times, thread activities table. We instrument all of these three areas within 40 hours of our engagement starting. This is just a sample, so it's not from our actual client side. Let me share some live examples from some of our clients. These are some real outcomes from real engagement. So we probably cannot go into the details of some of the client details in this one, but you will get the picture. Firstly, this is a large media group with a very complex TM1 environment. It's got multiple entities, heavy reporting load, and they're also in the middle of a cloud migration. They reduced their total cost of TM1 ownership by approximately 35%, while at the same time modernizing the platform. They went onto the cloud, they went into a new support model. How and what changed? Three things. First, they moved from a reactive break fix model to a governed, budget predictable support structure with defined SLAs and monthly reporting. Secondly, prevention work eliminated their top five recurring issues within 90 days. So, in the first 90 days, the top five issues that they were facing were eliminated. Ticket volume dropped by around 40%. The cloud environment or the cloud migration was executed while all this was happening within the first 6 weeks of our engagement. BAU operations, zero service disruption. The finance team continued uninterrupted throughout. We also had a budgeting period in the middle of all this. Zero disruptions. The lesson from this case isn't the 35% saving, while it's significant and really a highlight number, it's the mechanism, the predictable cost, removal of the key person risk, proactive maintenance. That's what is driving the results here. In the second client that we talk about, it's a quite large financial services group, well known name in the Australian TM1 circles. They've got close to 1,000 users and running 50 different rolling forecasts with many different iterations every quarter to allocations, forecasting, a whole range of things on the platform. The budgeting cycle is cut by 10 weeks, and that's a significant amount of time in a large corporation. Scenario modeling, the range has been extended to 60-month horizon now. Finance team has shifted from process heavy admin tasks to a genuine analysis. So there has been a marked shift from using their finance resources away from the process work into more analysis. What's important here is to understand what made this possible. It wasn't a new module, new build, or new feature, or even an upgrade in this case. It was the platform stability. When system isn't crashing, when changes are not taking weeks, when the team isn't managing the tool, they can actually start to use it. And that's what the support model contributes to the planning transformation. Stable support is not the end goal, it's the prerequisite for everything else that happens. Set case. This is another one of our clients, a global retailer, which came to us to manage their financial across 15 separate. They were managing their financials using multiples of spreadsheets. So let's say about 15 to 20 spreadsheets. The reports that took weeks now take 5 minutes. 120 hours saved every month from the finance team. 20% reduction in support tickets and zero spreadsheets. While we do know that TM1 is linked, you can link TM1 to the spreadsheets. All of the spreadsheets, the offline spreadsheets were eliminated, and all the reporting was done off the cubes using linked spreadsheets and PO. For a CFO, the last number, zero spreadsheet, was actually the most significant thing. That was one of the things that was on his KPI. Now, every spreadsheet is a version controlled risk. A high level of risk within the finance team due to the reporting done by the different spreadsheets. It's also a audit risk. Eliminating them isn't just about the efficiency gain, it's also about the governance. 120 hours per month is roughly equivalent to one full-time FTE, a finance analyst given back to the business to do more analysis instead of process work. There is no more data wrangling done by the finance team. A lot of that is automated, the mapping. They only look at the exceptions, fix the exceptions, continue with the reporting. This is the hidden value of a stable, well-supported TM1 environment. Three very different environments we looked at, three consistent patterns, the different sizes and the scale of TM1. However, the results were pretty much similar or same. Predictable cost, reduce the risk, and finance freed up to do finance things. Let's talk about the real cost of not doing this, because most organizations underestimate what a broken support model is costing them. So this is probably something that you won't hear from most of the vendors, and it's the most important one, which is the true cost of poor TM1 support. So what happens when you don't do what we're talking about here today? We tend to measure support cost as consultant invoices, but for the real cost, it's much broader than that. Finance time wasted managing the tool instead of using it, audit risk from uncontrolled spreadsheet use, delayed forecasting. The platform is too unstable to build upon, and increasingly, AI projects that simply cannot move forward because the data foundation is unreliable. And as with most organizations are looking at today, if you have got an AI strategy that has TM1 in the mix, the if your TM1 is crashing every month, it's not going to fill you or the AI team or the management with any confidence in leveraging TM1 cubes for your AI strategy. This is the foundation that matters. So let me give you a framework for where you are, the support maturity curve. This gives you an idea of where you are within the maturity curve and how your support is looking like. And there are different levels, and obviously the aim or the target is to get to level 4. That's where our clients are. Level 1 is reactive. You fix things when they break. Knowledge is in people's head, and there is no roadmap. Level 2, you are stable. The environment is reliable. There is a support model, even if it is imperfect. Recurring issues are managed but not eliminated. Level 3, optimized. Now we're talking. Prevention is active. Telemetry is live. Ticket volumes are declining. Finance is spending more time on analysis and administration rather than administration and process work. And then comes level 4, which is like a nirvana state, innovation ready. The platform is a genuine competitive advantage. Planning is automated. AI tools are actively being explored and used. Finance is now leading the organization forward and being a true business partner. This is the level that we should all strive to get to. Most organizations, if they are honest, are at level 1 and 2. The opportunity is not moving from level 1 to level 4 overnight. It's taking the next step. Level 2 and 3 are where you'll see the biggest returns. I want to give you a way to score your own model, independent of any provider, including us. The 10 questions, and we'll send details of that later because in today's session, we simply don't have the time to go into the details of each one in the level of detail that we want. So, with these 10 questions, you should score 1 for yes and 0 for no. If your total is under 7, your support model has significant risk or gaps. I run quickly through them today, but encourage you to generally score yourself as I go today or at a later time. So, one, during peak periods, budget forecast close, is the system fast, reliable, or slow and crashing? Number two, how many recurring bugs or tickets do you handle every month? Question three, what happens to unused support hours? Are they lost, partially rolled over, or fully flexible? Four, can your support model handle the development and the project work without a separate commercial fight? How long does it take? Question number five. How long does it take you to deliver a critical finance report from TM1? Is it days, hours, or instantly? Six, do you actively have performance monitoring, specifically the stats control cubes? to spot regressions before the users notice. 7, are you are your TM1 logs monitored and managed so accumulation doesn't become a problem? 8, who controls the ticket priority? Finance, IT, or whoever shouts the loudest? 9, is there a knowledge base or a run book or a checklist that is being maintained and shared across the team? Final question 10, do you have an upgrade modernization plan or a roadmap to IBM support lifecycle? An active roadmap that is actively being updated and looked at? If you're struggling with more than two or three of these, your operating model is introducing a risk into your finance function. That's the diagnosis. It's as simple as that. The roadmap from here is straightforward. There are three phases. So, month 1 to 3, you stabilize, you audit your environment, fix the top 5 recurring issues, stand up a single intake queue, get a telemetry or reporting setup live within 48 hours is what we generally do. Most organizations try to modernize before they have stabilized, and that's backward. And worse still, many organizations start implementing another tool because the current tool is not modernized. And guess what? Within a couple of months or years, they're back to square one. So changing the tool won't solve your problem. Month 4 to 6, this is when the optimization starts. The telemetry is fully deployed. We've got links into all different windows and servers and things like that, and we know and monitor things and control, know what will fail before it starts failing. Minor requests are being automated. SLA reporting is live. The knowledge base is complete. The ticket volume, the support tickets will start declining around this period. Month 7 to 12, the modernization phase. If you are still on premise, the cloud migration should be a key consideration here. And I've covered the cloud versus on prem in our earlier sessions. If you need to understand a bit more about your environment and what and where you should go from here, please have a look at some of our earlier sessions. Legacy models are being decommissioned in this phase. So we're talking about months 7 to 12 at the moment. Finance has shifted from process work to analysis. And if it one of the key things that we recommend now is if you are on prem, you go onto a cloud version depending on the scale, size, and where you are. It could be either on the IBM cloud or on the AWS. It should be on your roadmap. And that's where the path begins. Let me wrap up with three things that we've covered today. Firstly, TM1 is really the problem, support is. And we name the 4 models and their breaking points and try to figure out where your model fits. The second thing we talked about today, modern support is not faster ticket closure. It's predictable cost, reduced risk, continuous improvements, and a model that prevents pain rather than profiting from it. 3, the case studies we looked at from actual clients that prove that stable, governed support is the prerequisite for every planning transformation. You'll have faster cycles, you'll have AI readiness, and finance actually doing finance things. Now, if you'd like to take the next step, you can either type assess in the chat or we'll get back to you via email or phone and give you the checklist of how to assess your own readiness or where you are, your own status. And we've also got a number of content or booklets that we'll send you, which will give you the same content in a form that you can sort of consume and share with others as well. However, if you're not ready for a conversation but just want a starting point, we'll also send you a 5 question health check assessment link. You can take it independently or compare it with how your vendor is performing or how your internal team is performing, and it will give you a short list of recommendations. With that, I will close here today. Thank you for spending some time with me this morning as we went through as to how we can rethink our TM1 support. If you have any questions, I will take that now. Me- Just give me a few minutes to get to the question. All right. One of the questions that has come in is this what we're doing? Is this available in Australia only? Um, Sorry, I didn't talk too much about us and our services, and I won't probably go into too much details. But we are based in Australia, but we serve clients globally. So we've got clients in most parts of the world. We've got clients in all cities in Australia, Fiji, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, India, Middle East, and US and UK. So if you're looking to do this, we operate on 24/7 basis. So it's not limited to Australia. Uh, what happens if you move to a managed service model, but we it doesn't work for us and we decide to bring the support back in house? Are we locked in? That's actually a real fear. It has that you sign up a vendor and you are locked in. With us, there's no contract, so you can sign up for a month or you can sign up for 12 months. It doesn't really matter to us. It's up to us to keep you as a client. So the knowledge base and any work that we do belongs to you, not to us. So at any point you can unhook from the vendor, which is us, and go back to in-house, or you can have a hybrid where you have partial in-house and partial vendor. um, is another one. How do you handle peak periods like budgeting and forecasting cycles where there's more requirement for resourcing, and then there are other months where there's no requirement for resourcing? Yeah, our services, and it's all on our website, is flexible in that sense. So you can roll scale up and scale down as required. So you if you don't use or support or use limited support particular month, then there is no charge for that. However, as I mentioned earlier, that there are certain things that we build up a sort of a pool of work that is around preventative things. So in the quieter months, that's usually what we go through and do that, but you don't have to. uh, we've had a bad experience with external consultants in the past who didn't transfer knowledge. How is this model different? Yeah, now we've been on the receiving end, and I used to run TM1 in many different country companies, and I have faced it where the knowledge base is with the consultant, and it doesn't pass on the knowledge knowingly or unknowingly. Uh, as I mentioned, I've talked about the 60-day knowledge transfer. So we create the knowledge base, and that's owned by you, not by us, and that's handed over to you. That 60-day knowledge base that we create. Okay. A few questions around assessment, but we'll send some of the questions around assessment and all, but we will send you an email with the links, and it will make it easier for you to understand and go through that. All right, I think we are on time at the moment. So if there's any other things, feel free to reach out to me either on LinkedIn or via email, and I'd be happy to chat about this further. With that, I will close today's session and I'll talk to you in the next couple of weeks on something else related with either TM1 or AI. Thank you. Bye.